Welcome, fight fans,
to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys
Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Production Studios. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. Alongside of me is the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Cole Escovedo. What's happening, Cole?
What's going on, amigo? How's the knee?
Oh, the knee's getting stronger, man.
Yeah?
It's getting stronger. We're rehabbing it and getting it ready. And, the pain is now, I'm able to move on to that next level as far as getting strong and doing some things. Getting off those pain meds, man, because that thing had me buzzing, feeling good.
You got to ditch those.
No, you got to. And I'll tell a story about that, too.
They're not good. CBD.
No. Well, yeah, we can talk about that, too. I may, endorse something because I was helping out, Mikey Garcia with his pound-for-pound CBD. So we'll see what's going on, man. But no, hey, UFC 251, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about some of the fights that took place. We're going to talk about Fight Island. But today we're going to talk about our guest, Al Tiburon from San Jose, California. Top ranks boxing contender, Andy Vences. Welcome to the show, Al Tiburon. How we doing, Andy?
Hey, thank you.
Are you still munching, my man?
What was that?
Are you still munching down?
Nah, I'm already done.
Okay, because it's 24/7 Shark Week with you, my man. We're repping.
I know. No, yeah, I was just eating a little bite before I came on the call.
Hey, it's okay, man. Hey, man, let's talk about your fight that took place last week, man. There was some mixed reactions. And when I say mixed reactions, a lot of people, including myself, experts, Hall of Famers, but they were not judges, had you winning the fight by a narrow margin. And not only that, winning the fight by being able to come out that 7th round. I'm going to let you tell the whole story because that 6th round was a turn point, and I want to say in your life, in your career, and you showed the whole world exactly who you are and what you're made of.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable. Felt like a movie. I just feel I had a very bad round where it's boxing, it happens.
Yeah.
And it's not even that I went down, but a lot of the times it's not how you finish the round or how you get put down. It's how you get up and how you respond to adversity. I feel everything in that round was just unbelievable. I got caught with a punch I didn't see coming. I was stumbled. I was out on my feet. But guess what? You come back. You reestablish yourself and you push forward, just like in life. We deal with many things. We lose people every day. We lose relatives. We lose sons, daughters, whoever it is in life. But because of that, you can't be that. I lost my manager, Herb Stone. Because of these, just like in life, because of these situations, you can't let that person down. You got to just keep moving and keep pushing forward, and that's how I relate what I went through in round 6. I hit the bottom of the bottom. It was a very bad round, but you can change what the outcome is as long as you make that decision. And then coming out after that round, I made a decision. Vences, you're gonna hold on. You're gonna get through the round, but if you do get through the round, you're gonna do something about it. And that's all that was in my mind, was to just go out the next round, listen to my corner, and just keep winning every single round. So even going into the 10th round, I was like, dude, I got all the rounds. Here I am going in the 10th, winning this round. I'm going to win the fight. There's no way. So, in my mind, I knew I won the fight. I just knew that the 6th round was so bad. I was hoping that didn't persuade any of the judges to score the fight differently just because of one round. It's not even a round that I hit the canvas. And I feel that's kind of, we've seen fighters hit the canvas before. We have Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, where Tyson Fury hit the canvas twice, and he had a draw, I never hit the canvas. You know, I got through a hard round. It was a very crucial round, but I feel I came back, and the most astonishing way that many people look, and you know, I've gotten messages from all over the world just saying, "Hey, man, you're an inspiration." Like they just, you know, I feel like I've gotten more good out of the fight than bad. I don't feel that I've lost. Even to this point, I still feel that I haven't lost clearly. So I'm definitely going to move forward. I feel I'm at the point in my boxing career where, especially now, where I know I was supposed to win the fight, I had to win the fight, but I'm at a point right now, and I'm at a point in my career where either you continue on to be successful or you walk away and you never reached your success because you gave up. I'm already there. I feel like this is just testing me whether I want to continue or not. I know, and I've seen after the fight, I've gotten so much praise from the fight. I've gotten so much praise from this loss than I have in any of my wins that I've had, any of my performances that I've had. So that shows me a lot. Talking to my manager, we do plan to return before the year ends. I'll definitely be back, and I'm going to be in the ring in November. I know I'm going to be in the ring back in November. I'm going to rest up. Just, you know, I'm actually going on vacation this Sunday. Going to take some time away, reset my mind, but I'm going to push forward. I'm going to keep going. I'm on the verge to seeing success, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be remembered as a fighter that just never gave up, and he made it. And that's what I want to be. That's my inspiration to people, and I want to be that example to people. Is look, he never gave up, but he made it. He never walked away. He made it. You know.
You know, Andy, you covered about all my questions, man. I do want to say this though, brother. That loss is your biggest victory, if that makes any sense to you, because I've seen you paint a Picasso. I've seen you dominate a fighter, unanimous decision, and yet the reviews weren't the reviews that we needed. When I say we, because we're team El Tiburon, you were still undefeated. You were still a champion, and because it wasn't to the fight fan exciting, or nobody got hurt, or Andy wasn't rocked, or he didn't rock his opponent, but you dominated every single round. Now this fight in the 6th round, there was times where I'm thinking, okay, he doesn't even know where he's at. He's going all on muscle memory, because there was a point where you went southpaw and you went to the body. And I was thinking, okay, he's going to hold on now. He knows where he's at. And I'm thinking, during the time, and I'm talking to you during the fight as I'm watching, because, you know, I'm media, but I'm a fan deep down when I watch you in there. And you got hurt early in the round, but you finished the round off, and as if to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to grind down on my mouthpiece, and I'm going to let my shots go. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. If you were not in shape, you would have went down, because your upper body wanted to actually go down, but your legs were in tip-top shape. There was times when I saw you leaning down, I was thinking, okay, is he going to take a standing 8 or that smart 2 or what's he doing? But your legs were in tremendous shape.
Well, yeah, you know, I tell people, it gives me the chills now that you say that, because one side of my mind in those moments where I was so hurt, so out of it, I'm being honest with you, Rich, one side of my head told me, hey, you know what, Andy, that's fine, just take a knee. Don't be that guy. Just go down, take a knee, and get back up. But this was in seconds, and then so one side of my head said, hey, it's okay, just go down, take a knee. But the other side of my head said, hey, fuck that. You trained so hard. You got all these people that have supported you since. Get through the round and win the fight. And that was a decision that I made. It was like in the blinks of seconds. Sometimes, I don't know how to explain it, where your mind's talking to your body when you're so hurt like that. My mind started asking myself, like, hey, go down, like, take the knee. And my other mind was telling me, hey, you better hold on and get through this. It's okay. Let him throw any punches he wants. You've already felt the worst one. You're going to be okay. Just make it through and win the fight. So my conscience was talking to myself. Yeah, I was out of it. I was totally out of it. But it's crazy how your mind is involved deep in the fight. Even though you're gone and you're out of it, your mind's talking to yourself of what's going on. It's a very scary feeling. It's just unbelievable feeling where it's like, this is what you really ask yourself, like, how bad do you want it? And I feel like my conscience and my soul is telling me, dude, this is your life, this is your passion. Like, you're going to go through this round, and you're going to win the fight. The worst thing has already happened to you now, so just turn it all around. And I just feel like, you know, I even looking back at the fight, I just feel like, man, like, you don't have to be a boxing judge to score the fight, you know? Like, I don't know. I think I just got bad luck in Vegas, and, you know, it's just, I don't know. I just always feel like I get the short end of the stick on these bad decisions or something like that. But it's all right. It's all right. As long as in my mind I haven't been beaten and I don't feel I've been beaten, that's what matters. Once, like Bruce Lee says, once defeat is accepted, then it becomes a reality, you know?
Exactly. Very well said. Cole, you've been involved in fights where you've been hurt and your soul is the only thing that's holding your body together. You've actually knocked people out and then back in again. What's going through your mind on both ends? As the one who hurt his opponent and then you hit him again and now he's back into the fight, as opposed to getting rocked and surviving that round. What takes over when that happens, Cole?
He described it pretty well in the scenario in which you get rocked, like how that inner conversation goes. You know, it's a quick dot. The scary thing isn't really, to me, how it happens. It's how fast that conversation happens. Because that conversation happens in like milliseconds, and you are cognizant of everything you just went through, and you just ran through your own head of what needs to be done. And it just it's like, you know, in those movies when a guy gets hit and everything goes into slow motion. And like Sherlock Holmes, he's like, okay, left hoof, body, diaphragm, just local shit. You know, he just rushed through it. You run through all that, but it's happening bang, 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 bang. So the same thing there, but in that fear moment of you got to find something to push through, find that button to push through it. But as far as hurting a guy, I don't really think about anything so much as you don't stop until the ref stops you. So like it might be different for boxing when you know when the guy's going to drop or you know when he's going to take a knee, you're supposed to pull back. I don't know if it's any different, but us, it's just you go until you go. But as far as his idea, Andy's idea about wanting to be like spread a message and share it, he did it already when he talked about just get through this round, there's another round. So like you get people that are all the time that are suffering from depression and low self-esteem and things like that, and they're contemplating bad things. The positive advice is to try to get them to realize there's another day. The sun will come up tomorrow. It may be a shitty day tomorrow too, but it will come up and it's another opportunity. So just like he was feeling, the same sense of all you got to do is make it through this round. No matter how bad, unless it's the absolute last round, which anyway, you should be going for broke if it's the last round anyway, do or die. But if it's not the last round, you've got to be able to push through and tell yourself, no matter how shitty this round is, I'm going to get a break and I'm going to get another round. I get a whole nother round to try to whoop this guy's ass again. So it's a good mental test being hurt in a fight. It will really tell you where, because a lot of guys go through their whole career and never really get hurt. Like they get cracked and like their eyes water. They kind of just become like, dude, I know, but you won't know how deep you've got it in you until you just get your shit wrong. And they're like, so what were you thinking? And you're like, I don't know. You know, like you don't even have, there's not even an autopilot memory. The black box is gone. It's just, you just did the shit and got it done and got out. I've seen guys do that. And it's like, dude, how'd you hit him with that right hand? It's like, I don't know. I hit him with the right. Like what happened? Like when Matt Hughes and Carlos Newton fought. Carlos Newton had that triangle locked on. Matt Hughes picked him up. And as he picked him up, he went out. Newton choked him out, but he slammed as he fell. And it knocked Newton out and loosened up the choke. So Hughes woke up and pulled out. And you could see Matt Hughes running around like, what happened? What is that? Did we win? Is that it? Because Newton's just laying there, just out. And he's like, what happened? Like he has no clue. So that autopilot he talks about is a big thing. And that comes from time in the gym. You'll see guys that look like lost deer in headlights when they get cracked. And it's just like, A, he might not have it in him. Or B, he didn't spend enough time hard training. He hasn't been put in enough bad scenarios.
Well, in this case, Andy, you were able to survive the round and, in my opinion, win the rest of the fight because you were in great shape. And that was a concern personally that I had going into the fight with you, Andy, because I thought maybe you might have overtrained. But after reviewing your whole career, you've always been in tremendous shape, man, and you've always been in condition, in a true professional, never missed weight at all. Now, coming into that seventh round, what exactly do you recall going into the seventh round, and what adjustment did you make, knowing that you needed to make it?
Oh, well, I just want to say, what's the other guy's name on here? I forgot.
That's the UFC veteran Cole Escovedo.
Well, Cole Escovedo just kind of phrased everything in a way where it's like the exact way where I would say everything was. I just wanted to let him know it's something that's like only another fighter can relate to.
Right.
And he just described it exactly like, man, like the whole conversation you're having with yourself in milliseconds, slow motion. It's like, that's exactly what it was. And I have the chills again right now on the phone because it's like, man, he just described it like it was happening again. Like, anyways, good stuff. But, yeah, I'll be honest, the 7th round, you know, I got the instructions from my coach, and I said, all right, you lost that round. You basically, if the fight's over right now, I lost the fight. Technically, I knew that I was technically I was down. So going down the 7th round, what I put in my mind is, yeah, I'm gonna do exactly what my coach wants me to do. Throw these combinations, push the guy back, fire at will, and there's no other option. If you get knocked out, you go out on your shield like a true fucking warrior. You don't disappoint the people, but guess what? You're going to go out there and you're going to just fire away, come back. You're going to get in this. And then, you know, after the round ended, I came back and I said, okay, boom, I got that round. I was so happy in my mind. Like, dude, I came back. Like, I got the round. I figured something out. I figured that he couldn't fight going backwards and that he tended to freeze when I would throw punches at him. He wouldn't really throw punches back because he was kind of overwhelmed. So I figured something out, and in the round where I was hurt the most, what it did actually is it had me figure out how I had to fight the fight in order to win. And it was totally like he went into a mode where he didn't want to engage or be close, or he couldn't even fight going backwards. And that's what I really figured out the 7th round. And then just from there, I was like, this is the way I'm going to win the fight, is by pressing him, pushing him back, being smart, you know, throwing the combinations, but not being too crazy, but just making sure he was on his back foot going backwards. And yeah, just feel like, you know, I figured it out. Sometimes a fighter, you're not going to figure things out into certain scenarios, and I feel that was the worst scenario that happened to me, but it caused me to figure out how to win that fight coming back in that 7th round. I figured out, okay, he doesn't want to be close to me, he doesn't want to engage, and he feels very paranoid when a lot of punches are coming at him. So every round I was just coming back knowing I won the round, and just listening to my coach, and I just give a lot of credit to my coach Angel for preparing me mentally for this fight as well. You know, back when we were sparring and training, he was really teaching me how to fight inside and how to, like, I was having to spar a lot of close rounds in close, and I asked him one day, like, hey, like, I'm a little confused. Why are you having me fight inside? And then my coach told me after training, he just told me, like, this is a fight where you're going to have to dig deep and you might have to fight back if necessary. So I just want to teach you how to fight if you have to fight. And he was doing this in my sparring the last 3 or 4 rounds. He would push me to pressure, throw punches until I was tired. And that's something I don't do. That's something I'm not used to. And in the trainings, I just feel like he prepared my mind
Exactly.
for what was coming. And it's kind of weird because my coach, he's very good at predicting how things are going to happen. We didn't expect me to get hurt like that. That's not what we planned. That's not what we wanted. But he knew the fight was going to be hard at times and that I might have to fight back through anything. So that's pretty much really where he trained me, where I really feel it helped me to push into that second gear. Yeah, it was my heart, it was my will, but because we've done that in training where we've pushed through when we're so exhausted, so tired, I feel like I was able to do that, and I was kind of comfortable and used to doing it because I've been there, so exhausted having to push forward, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool.
Kobe, listening to that, how much of do you recall during that fight of the training and the preparation? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how much of a factor is the coaching when you need to change your game plan?
Mm-hmm. It's a really big factor because you might not see something they see.
Right.
You might see something they didn't, and then you got to have a quick conversation in between rounds. But a couple things Andy mentioned, like what he noticed, the guy backing up.
Yeah.
Why? Like, if you look at what happened between round 6 and round 7, he really tried to put Andy away. Like, he probably, in his physicality, probably put a little more of his gas tank into that final round on round 6 and the end of that round, because he saw Andy was hurting. He's like, I'm gonna try to finish him.
Yeah.
And then when he couldn't, I've seen guys try to put dudes away, and when they don't finish them, all of a sudden they get gun shy. They're like, oh shit, okay, what am I going to have to do to put this guy away? Because we just went ham on him and he didn't go down. Like, then they start going, okay, well, pull back a little. Don't, like when you get into a gunfight, you don't fully engage unless you're taking ground. If you're not taking ground after like 5 seconds, you have to start giving ground, because you're going to waste ammo in a stalemate. You'll go nowhere. So I could see his opponent getting a little gun shy because of that, because he couldn't put him away. And that's when Andy noticed he starts backing up and can't fight, because he's like, I don't know what to do. Now I'm just trying to back up, trying to figure out where this guy's going to go. But the mental aspect of the training and conditioning, it builds that muscle memory. It lets you know how deep you can dig. It lets you know when you get into really bad spots, you're like, okay, I've been here before. It's a mental thing. You just got to remember that you've been there. Like when people do Navy SEALs training stuff and how to prevent self-drowning stuff, it's like, okay, you can panic a little, but just when you panic, remind yourself you've been there. It's okay. You can get through this. You just got to buy yourself that extra second before where the rest of us would like panic and then that's it.
I mean, and I'm listening to Andy's testimony, and he's talking about how his trainer prepared him differently in this fight. And, you know, hats off to him to be able to have Andy do something that's out of his element. And even Andy's said, hey, man, why are we doing this? I'm not accustomed to doing this. We've never done this before. But it's a trainer's job to prepare the fighter for everything that can happen. Andy, those two things that stuck out in my mind. One is I rarely see you go to the body, but you turned southpaw and you just dug to the body on this guy when you were hurt. And two, in the 7th round, getting ready to come out in the 7th round, I knew everything was gonna be okay, because the ref said, hey, are you okay? You got to show me something. And you looked at him and said, basically you said, yeah, fuck yeah. And then you told your corner, get him out of here. So I knew you were okay, because you didn't want that referee checking on you anymore. You let him know, hey, I'm okay. And I remember, I said, okay, he's okay now. He's going to come out. And you did. And that's exactly the attitude that you need to have.
I came out blazing.
You did.
You got to reassure refs sometimes.
So many punches that round. I was on him. And, I'm just very thankful the ref allowed me to continue the fight. He allowed me to show what I showed that night was how much heart, how much will I bring to the sport of boxing. Because I'm just very fortunate that I had a world-class referee, Kenny Bayless, allow me to do that, because, you know, he was on the verge of stopping the fight. My coach thought he was going to stop the fight. Like, he talked to me after. He said, I thought that was it. I thought they were going to stop the fight. But for the referee to be able to notice that I was okay, that I was responsive, that I was out on my feet, but I was good mentally, is something that I got to give credit to the refs too. We've seen refs stop fights way too early, you know? So I was very fortunate that night, and that's what I'm saying. I look at the good things that happen, the good things that have been presented to me, and I'm very, very thankful and glad I had a Hall of Fame referee that was able to know that I had it in me to come back. He was able to see in my eyes that I wasn't there mentally, but I was there responding, and I knew what I was trying to get through, you know?
Unlike the ref on Saturday.
Oh my gosh, we wouldn't talk about that second half of the show.
It's you know, it's a lot of factors that come into a fight. And, you know, when I turned southpaw, I don't know if you know, I did turn southpaw. Everyone was telling me to hug when I was hurt. Hug, hold him. I just didn't feel good mentally to hold him, because I didn't want to get caught with another punch and open up and grab him and kind of get hit, and then I'm down, you know? I didn't feel comfortable to hug, but I did feel good on my legs. So what I did, when you could look back in that 6th round, and because I remember clearly what I was doing. I turned southpaw and I delivered 2 body shots, but they were 2 low blow body shots.
I saw that
on purpose.
I saw that
on purpose to buy me time. I knew the ref was going to break the fight and tell me to pick them up, so that's exactly what I did. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's 5 seconds. Like, you just wasted 5 more seconds. All right, you're almost there. Just keep going.
That's a veteran move right there, my man.
Ice in the kicker.
That battle of time. But that's what bought me 5 seconds mentally to just tell myself, okay, like, You did it. Like, you know what you're doing. Just get through the round. And you know, I was talking to myself, but yeah, when I do that, I even told my coach, you see when I turned southpaw, I threw the 2 low blows to buy myself some time, and we were laughing about it. And he was like, hey, that was smart because I did hear the corner say hug, but I wasn't in position to hug. I just didn't feel comfortable.
And you got to make that decision sometimes. He's 100% right. Like you sometimes, because your corner's not going to be mad at you unless you totally just ditch the game plan. Yeah. But when he's yelling at you something like that, and you're like, you hear him, but you don't do it because you have your reasons. Like sometimes your corner's got to trust you too. Yeah. Like he's not going to come in the corner and go, why didn't you hug him? Be like, dude, no, talk to me after the fight about that. Yeah. And if the coach really had a problem, he'd be like, dude, why didn't you hug him? And then Andy will tell him, I didn't feel comfortable hugging. I felt safer doing this. Cool. Okay. Like he's not really going to bound him unless he just dipped on the whole game plan. Then that's just like, coach is like, why'd you do that? Why'd we even camp?
But here's the whole thing. I mean, Andy, you transitioned yourself the second half of the fight. The jab was working for you. There was even times when your opponent, he was very elusive, very awkward, throwing punches from awkward positions. But there was times when he was running. He was running from you. And so
for sure,
at the end, you dictated the fight. You pushed the action. But at the end of the day, you didn't get the nod. Now, here's my thing that I was most proud of. And I was like, man, hats off. Your post-fight interview, Andy, you handled it with class, as a true professional, as a veteran, and you knew deep down you were going to come back. You knew deep down you were going to have another conversation. You were going to go back to the drawing board, and it wasn't the end of the world, but you handled it with character and class.
Yeah. No, I did. And I feel, like I told you, my goal is to be a motivation to people, like to not quit, to not give up. And I feel that's what went through my mind, is I wanted to leave a mark in that fight where you could still come out winning. Unfortunately, I got the short end of the decision, but I mean, imagine if I would have got that decision, I would have made this would have been a great story, Yeah. To not give up, to keep pushing, and things will get better,
Well, it is a great story.
No, it is. It is, but I'm gonna have to continue the book as far as continue my career and how he still didn't give up and he continued to be successful. And that's where I'm at now. I know the situation. I'll definitely be back in November. They already told me I'm gonna have a comeback fight in November, and possibly still have that big fight that we were expected to have. My manager already told me we were fighting in November.
Well, things are starting to fall in place, Andy. I don't know if you're noticing it in that division. Sure. Yes, they are. And you may be on the undercard of Bud Crawford. I mean, he's supposed to be coming out and fighting in November. So all eyes are going to be on you again. Here's the deal, Andy, then I'm going to let you talk. Your fanfare has grown since then. You've had a lot of people who were non-believers, and they're now believers. And I'm going to tell you this, you've had people that were even haters. They're no longer haters. They can still hate, but at the end of the day, they must and they will and they have respected El Tiburon after this performance. Timothy Bradley, Andre Ward, and even Evan Korn had you winning the fight. And those are Hall of Famers. Those are our former world champions. Christina Patra had you winning the fight. And,
Bob Arum got off of his seat. He had me winning the fight. So, when you have your CEO of the company winning the fight, you have everybody, the whole company winning the fight. Whether they like you, don't like you, like these people have you winning the fight. It's just, that's what kind of hits me, and that's what kind of strikes me, is why couldn't two people get it right? Like, I know one judge had it right, but what happened to the other two judges? Like, why couldn't they see that right? What happened? Like, what were they watching? Because if you're looking at my face, of course, I had a lot of cuts and, from the headbutts, and I was all, I was a little beat up from the face. But you got to look at the display of the fight. What rounds were beat. Don't look at my face and depict it off my face. Hey, he lost the fight. No, that's not what it was. Is that,
and some judges will do that.
Accidental headbutts were caused and bumped, and it really, really, really played a factor to my face.
Yeah, I believe that happened early in the second round, or no, late in the second round, or early in the third round. We had the clock up, KP.
And then there was another late butt, like in the seventh round. It was unbelievable. So,
Yeah, that cut it did bring a concern to my eyes. That second cut.
Sure.
Is that what cut
but
him?
I have that Hall of Fame coming, Mr. Mike Basil. We have to remember it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually,
a team is very important. People don't understand the professionals. Your team will either get you to the finish line or they won't be able to take you. And my cutman does an amazing job. He does an amazing job to control that. And we've seen it in other fights where he's done it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just, like I tell everyone that the whole team plays a crucial part. Like, you cannot have a all right cutman and a great trainer. You have to have all the pieces to the puzzle together. And I feel I have all the pieces of the puzzle together. I just still at the short end of that decision. But I feel if I move forward, I'm going to do it. I have a great trainer. I have a great cutman. I have a great father. I have a great team. I have a great foundation. I have a great wife. There's kind of, no excuse why I wouldn't continue, because a lot of people, and then a lot of people might point the finger at my trainer and say I need a new trainer, but it's not that. It's not that. The trainer can tell you what to do, train you how to train, but at the end of the day, everything's going off reaction in the fight. Everything is happening in seconds, your decision. Obviously, you do what you're trained to do, but sometimes it doesn't work out. We knew exactly how Aldo was going to fight me, Luis Alberto Lopez, exactly how he was going to come in with his head. We had even told the referee before the fight. He asked us if we had any concerns, and we notified the referee. He likes to come in with his head. He's going to headbutt us. We knew exactly how this fight was going to play out. It's just when things are happening, it's all about reaction. It's just, it's just happening in seconds, and we were trying to deal with everything that was happening from his, punches coming at different angles, from the way he stood awkwardly jumping in, the headbutts. We were dealing with so many factors. But the main thing we were trying to do was win. Whether it was by knockout or win the round, we were just trying to win. And finding myself in that hole in the stakes, like I said, I was just trying to win every single round, however I had to do it.
Well, you know what? You made the transition in the fight, and you're in good spirits, and you're doing the right thing, taking some time off, man, because sometimes a gym rat just does not want to leave the gym. And I think from the top of the show that you said you're going to take some time, do some soul searching. Go do something, man. I mean, because you're constantly in the gym.
Just for the air, I'll throw it on the air right now. I am taking some time. Gonna do some soul searching. Gonna get some rest. But I'm actually gonna make some property investments as well.
There you go.
I'm gonna I'm gonna get into the real estate business and do my first property investment. So I have a lot of plans, a lot of goals to where I want to continue boxing because I have a future and I have goals. I'm a very motivated person in every aspect of life. I've been very motivated, and I'm very happy. Even though all this happened, I'm very happy of the outcome. I'm very happy with my performance, my attitude, my mental capability. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I'm here talking to you guys, and I'm just going to continue to be an inspiration to many fighters,
Well, there you are. Cole, listening to that attitude, man, I mean, this fighter's going to continue to be exactly where he needs to be, and that's taking those forward steps. And because it all starts with the mind and the heart. The rest of the tools are going to come into place. That's gym time.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is when Andy said right now when he goes on his vacation, I don't really given how he sounds and his approach to this and everything, I don't really necessarily know if you need to do much soul searching. I mean, you're going, this isn't me telling you not to. I'm just saying, like, you seem like you're already at like stage 4 of someone who's taken a big loss. You know what I mean? Like you're already to the point to where you've accepted and moved on to what's next. Where some guys are still at like stage 2. They're just bummed out about the loss.
They can't get over it.
They can't get over it. So where he's at mentally tells me that he's one of those fighters that like knows no one stays undefeated forever. Yeah. Losses happen. It's what you do after the loss and what you do with your next fight. Do you come out lazy-daisical because you're just done with it now, or do you come out and do even better than the last one? Which I was going to ask you, like, what changes, if any, do you think you would need to make with regards to looking back when you've had time to review this particular fight and seeing anything that you feel, okay, that's something to work on there. Maybe we work on this here. Did you see anything that you feel you want to tighten up at all off this one?
Yeah, I actually just went to my coach's house last night, and we sat down and watched the fight together. And, we worked on so many things. And at this point, it's just, they say sometimes you got to practice the move 1,000,000 times to perfect it and actually do it. So that's where I'm at. I think it's just a matter of practicing in the gym to where it becomes a natural natural habit of me doing it in the fight. You know, there's a lot of things I didn't do that we practiced, a lot of scenarios and things that we did that I just didn't happen. It's not that my coach didn't teach me or didn't know how. It's like, man, I just didn't do them. And what does that come down to? That comes down to practicing that move 100 times, 1,000,000 times to get it, you know?
Yeah, like you mentioned Bruce Lee, like, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that knows
There
one
you go.
kick. He's done it
There you
1,000
go.
times.
There you go.
Yes.
That's the philosophy
practice
where
skill.
we're at. It's kind of like my coach taught me how to do these things, do these moves, but it's up to me for us to just take consistency, you know? Consistency
It's the
and
quality of
practicing those moves.
So where are you going on vacation, man? I mean, share it with the world, man. Where's Andy Vences going on his time,
first
man?
I want to say, I don't want anyone to think negative that I'm going on vacation, you know, due to the fact that coronavirus. We're going to take all precautions. I'm just going with my wife. We're not going to be around other people, but we're actually going to Cancun.
Oh, right
okay.
on, man. Good for you.
I bet that's cheap right now.
We're hoping there's nobody there. That way it'll just be private, just be us, not too many people, and we're always just around each other anyways when we go places, so we don't plan to be in contact with too many people. But yeah, we're going to Mexico, Cancun, and we're going to a all-adult resort for about 6 days. We'll be there.
Yeah, 0 kids at resorts.
Right on,
That's
man.
the best idea. Like, kids are okay, but like, when you want to go on vacation, you find an adult-only resort.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Nobody's kids. Like, I don't care if mine out here. I don't want to see yours either.
Yeah, exactly. No offense to anything, but
but
no
just
kids
no
are
vacation.
Yes, exactly. And one thing about Andy too, when he does it big. He does it the right way. I mean, he really does. I mean, he doesn't showboat too much, is like posting everything that he does, but when he does it correct,
Enjoys himself.
respectfully, and he thinks everything out.
That's how you keep your money safe.
Oh, exactly. Well, Andy, I don't want to hold you too long, man, unless you want to have some UFC talk. But I do want to say this, okay, leading up to it, don't feel so bad, because in my eyes, Max Holloway got a bogus decision loss. I thought he should have been victorious. Escovedo disagrees with me, but it's okay. And I was talking to Escovedo on top of the show. I said, Andy Vences should have been awarded the victory, as so is Max Holloway, and we're talking about UFC 251.
I saw Max Holloway. Max Holloway won that fight. I betted money on Max Holloway. I'm actually watching the fights right now, so as soon as we hang up, I have my ESPN on right now. So I'm watching these fights.
Nice.
But
There
he
you go.
won. He controlled the fight, controlled the distance. Same thing. He had a last round where the dude took him down 3 times, but that doesn't mean he lost. I don't
No idea.
understand.
No, it doesn't mean he
sometimes
lost. It just doesn't
I
help.
don't understand.
It just
It just doesn't help. Like losing, like getting taken down 3 times in a round would be so. Like getting taken down once, meh. You get taken down like 3, 4 times. Those are kind of like uncontested knockdowns at some point. They don't count as much as a knockdown because it's one knockdown. But if you get taken down like 3 or 4 times in a round, it's clear that you cannot stop your opponent from dictating where that fight goes.
Right.
That falls to
Right.
cage control. It's not so much that you're
And
getting points for the takedown; it's the cage
I think it
control.
matters the follow-up of the takedown. Like,
What do you do with
take him
it?
down to do
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
or did you just kind of trip him and fall down? you
Yeah,
know?
and they're starting to look at that too. Like if a guy just takes you down but doesn't do anything, doesn't
Right.
pass your guard, doesn't do any damage, and just kind of sits there and the ref goes, okay, stand back up. And then like 5 seconds later,
Yeah.
whoop, double leg again. It's like, yeah, sure, you're getting the takedown, but at some point, multiple takedowns with no aggression, no damage.
You got to invest in that takedown.
You have to, because it can
You have
count
to.
against
I
you at
just
some
feel
point.
like Max Holloway does 2 of those takedowns. He got right back up and did his thing. Like, you know?
Yeah, so you get a
know?
notch against you for the takedown itself, but getting back up shows less cage control for your opponent because he didn't dictate
For
where it went. He
sure,
tried,
for sure.
he tried, but he didn't.
But you know what I really want to know, Cole? And I want to know right now, Andy, how much money did you lose on that fight, man? How much did you bet on that one?
Max Holloway,
Yes,
I
sir.
bet it, I think it was like, honestly, he was the underdog. We kind of knew about him, me and my friends, so we betted like $300.
Oh, okay,
to win.
that's
Like,
not-
no, we betted like $200, but we were gonna win like $350, you know.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh,
too
there
bad.
you go, man.
But
That's not too bad.
even after the fight, I was like, "Damn, we got our money. Like we got it, bro. We got it." He controlled the fight, won. And I'm not a big UFC fan, but I started small betting here and there just to entertainment. I started
It's
watching the
sports.
sport a little bit more. I'm really not a big fan of UFC. If everybody knows me, I don't watch UFC like at all. But lately, I've been watching all the fights just because I have time. I'm home.
It's something to
and
watch.
It's a fight
And-
game. It's a fight game, and
And that's
never
who
can
you
doubt-
are.
See, the thing is too is you never can doubt. A couple of these fights we bet it on out. knowing the fighters, I said, hey, I'm going for the underdog. And my friend says, hey, like, why would you do that? Like, nah, dude, why would you do that? The favorite's going to win. And we've gone opposite ways where I bet on the underdog. And, you know, the underdog's losing the fight. And he goes, see, I told you. And I said, hey, there's one thing I need to tell you, dude. You can never doubt the heart of a fighter. And right after I said that, damn, the underdog takes down, fucking submissions the guy, his fight's over. And he's like, what the hell? And I'm like, I'm telling you, dude, that's the thing. We can bet on the favorites and do all this. I said, but at the end of the day, you can never underestimate or know the heart of that fighter. And that's what makes any type of fighting combat, like, super interesting, is that the will and the heart. You can't just.
That's why I was
Great combination.
That's why I was telling you, man. I bet Van Zandt to win on that one. I didn't bet any money on her, but everybody that asked me, I was like, no, Van Zandt hard, like, because she needed that W, because she had too much stock behind her and other invested areas of her succession as a fighter kind of dictated on it. It was required on it. So I was really expecting her to, like, dig deep. It's like she's an underdog, but it's like, dude, that fighter needs the W. They don't just want it. Like, they need this W.
That was a great business move, too, to stay back into the spotlight, to stay relevant.
Well, that's smart. That's
because she definitely has a career in modeling, acting, and whatever she wants to do, endorsements, other than the UFC.
Yeah, she's used her exposure platform to do that, which is smart, you know.
Andy, one thing I do want to say, I'm trying to get back in frame here. One thing I do want to say is, next time, man, you're going to lay down some cash on these fights, man. Get with Escovedo, the UFC veteran, the expert himself, and he'll kind of give you the yay and nay, and then we'll leave it up to you. And also, when you're here in Fresno, California, man, you got to show up early. When you leave and go back to San Jose, at least you're going to know how to shoot and sprawl, man. Learn from a UFC veteran. You guys are about the same weight, man. I think Cole's just a little bit more shredded than you are. We were posting your picture today, man, and I posted it, and a guy named Brett Juarez, he said, man, that dude is shredded.
Right.
And I said, you know what, Al Tiburon's always in tip-top shape and condition, man, but let's give props where props is due. You have a lot of your dad's gene pool, man, in those genetics, because I was watching him work out. You were supposed to be hitting the pads, and this man's standing up, walking on his hands, man. So let's give some props to your pops.
No, yeah, my pops has ingrained in me conditioning and just the work ethic that I have. And that's just really why I carry the qualities that I have is from my father. But I want to take this time to give a shout out to Ernie from Fresno, who hosts the No Town Showdown events. He's always been a great person to me. He's been a sponsor for me. And always been a big help, always invites us to the event. I just want to say thank you to him on air.
No, Andy's a class act. I'm sorry, Ernie's a class act, and so are you, Andy. You know, I'm going to let you go. I want you to start relaxing and just do you. First of all, I appreciate you taking the fight. A lot of other fighters would have turned it down because they didn't get the W, what have you. That's never been you. That's never been your personality. You always been true to the sport and been true to who you are. And I just want to thank you for taking time and coming on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast, my man.
Hey, thank you, Rich. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. And I'm definitely catch up with you guys every time I fight. And it's always a privilege to be on.
Hey, before I let you go, man, how can we follow you? How can the fans stay in contact?
Oh, they can follow me on Instagram at Tiburon Vences1, on Facebook and Twitter at Andy Vences.
Okay. Hey, Andy, inside joke, man. Once you get off the phone, continue to watch the show, because as soon as you get off the phone, you know we're going to talk shit about you. So that's just what we do here at the Fighter's Voice. No, I would never do that to you, my man. I'm just giving you a hard time. At least I made you smile, my man. You know I would never do that. We've always been close and tight, man. Hey, man, have a good...
I'm actually watch these fights right after this.
There you go, man. There you go. Have a good evening, man, and stay in contact, my man. Let me know if you need anything from us, and we'll be more than obliged to help you out.
All right, God bless. Take
See you,
care,
brother.
guys.
Enjoy Cancun.
Good night.
Yeah, be safe. All right, brother. Cole, listening to the attitude that he has, you know, I've known Andy for a while. The old Andy, when I say old, because he's matured and he's seasoned. The old Andy would have been talking about, oh, that was bullshit. I won the fight, and he wouldn't get over it. The first thing he did was get over it immediately at the post-fight interview. That way I knew, okay, this guy has grown overnight.
Yeah, he realized there's no sense. It's like someone convincing you that hating someone that you don't even talk to anymore is like, Why hold on to that hate? You don't even talk to
Yeah.
them. So why? So it's the same concept of the fight's over. I'm not going to be able to contest it. I lost. That's all there is to it. Why focus on it? Like, why? The fight's over. Why focus on it?
Yeah.
All I need to focus on from the loss is what did I do wrong? What can I do better? What changes need to be made? And that's it. Most champions will look at it that way when they lost, because they're the ones that don't ever make it to championship status are the ones that just look at it and come up with like, oh, I'm so bummed I shouldn't have lost. It's bullshit. It's like, you know, it is what it is. That's all you can do about it.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the foot stomping that took place in UFC 251.
Dude, I know,
and you know what? He didn't even flinch.
Well, no.
He just kind of accepted it.
Yeah, because it's just what it is. I mean, it can't feel bad. I mean, it's going to...
I mean, were those foot stomps, were they super necessary?
I think it's one of those you throw everything in the kitchen sink you can at an opponent type scenario.
Yeah.
I think with a guy like Masvidal, you have to do every single thing. And I don't want to say like do dirty tricks.
Masvidal got some record-breaking numbers, my man.
Yeah, he did. The guy was slinging. So
Yes.
I think with a camp, he might have been able to maybe formulate a better, I don't want to say a better game plan, but a game plan that they would have had more control over its implementation.
Yeah.
Like I said before the fight, Jorge's going in there just being in fight shape, ready, and being a fucking badass as it is. Like, that's plenty for most guys. It's just, like I said, I told my friends, like, the disadvantage Jorge has is just not that he didn't have a camp. He said he didn't have a camp to tailor a game plan for Usman, which I'm sure they drilled some shit during the week.
And let's not take anything away from Usman. He is a specimen, and he is very well-rounded. He may not be as exciting, a.k.a. GSP, the same formula, let's just win, right?
Yeah, just try not to lose was the game plan kind of thing, is where I don't want to see him fall into. And it's easy to fall into that because you get not comfortable, but you fall into this game plan where you know this game plan works.
He was not going to trade at all.
No, because he not that he wasn't going to, but he just felt that there was no need to.
No need to.
Why
Why put yourself
put
at
myself
risk?
in that? Yeah, why tailor my loss to Masvidal's fucking bread and butter? Why get him an extra $50K for knockout of the night? Why?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Because people are like, oh, you're scared and this and that. It's like, you know what, dude? At the end of the day,
they're scared or they're smart.
You get these coaches that'll be like, okay, the same guy that goes, oh, he doesn't want to trade punches because he's scared. It's like, you know what, dude? Here's what I say to that. Okay, this is what I say to you guys. You guys that say he was scared, runs, whatever. You're probably the same guy that bitches about the coach when he doesn't go for the 2-point conversion and takes the field goal for the tie for overtime. You're probably the same dude that bitches, why don't you just go for the win? Why don't you get your fat ass off the couch?
No. They're the guy that buys the UFC shirt.
Dude, KP, you're awesome.
There you go.
There you go. But it's the same thing. It's that
There you go. The jackass with the mic.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's
think about
a
it.
jackass with the mic.
It is, bro. I'm telling you.
Because it's the kick-ass podcast, you jackass.
Damn right. But it's a logical comparison, because the coach wants to put themselves in a position to not lose the game right now. You can win the game if you go for that 2-point, but if you miss it, you lose by a point. How stupid are you going to feel? Or you kick the fucking field goal, get the extra point. Now you have a whole run it back chance now to not only stop them, but now try to score, and then it's up to your defense. Like, you put yourself in that position. If you go for the 2-point and you miss, that's it. Game's over. They're going to Disneyland, you're not. So for people that say, oh, Usman was scared at this point, he doesn't want to trade, doesn't want to bang, it's like, I don't think that was it. I think he was just like, why go for the 2-point if I don't have to? I can win this fight without getting risk of just getting knocked the fuck out. So I think he had more, I think it was easier for Usman because the game plan's pretty easy. Don't trade and
That's
get into
Green
a fight.
Lantern, man. It reminds me of a modern-day Green Lantern.
Yeah.
He does. He does, man. That's just me. But you know what? Let's give him some credit too. I mean, he only got 6 days to prepare for some guy that was going to push the action and put himself at risk to land the bomb.
Yeah, and that, like I said, that coin goes both ways.
Yes,
like,
it
they
does.
both had no time to give. But I think I don't want to say this is, please, Jorge, don't come to my house and kill me. I think it's easier to come up with a game plan to fight a guy like Masvidal than it is to come up with a game plan to beat a guy like Usman. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have to come up with a game plan to beat Usman, not fight him, beat him, where Usman just has to come up with a game plan to fight you. his goal is to win, but he doesn't have to come up with a plan to beat you. He just has to come up with a plan to fight you.
He is your street brawler with discipline.
And that's where Usman didn't want to go. I don't want to get into a fight with you. Like, obviously, it's a fucking fight. Like, don't ever, it's a fight anyway. Yeah, I know it's a fight. But there's a estimated, calculated risk and reward factor that goes into the game plan of where your strengths are, where the weaknesses lie, what to stay away from. Don't get near the edge of the cage. He's a wrestler. Stay out in the open, blah. All these little factors. But at the end of the day, if Masvidal can get him into a just fucking bang out fucking brawl, Masvidal probably would have won that, and Usman know that. It was the same thing I tried to say with like McGregor's only chance of beating Mayweather in that fight was to force a brawl.
Yeah.
Don't box him. You're going to lose. Don't box him. Just fucking go for war. Blow your wad. 3 minutes every round. Do like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. You just go balls to the wall. Just get him in the corner. Do balls to the walls till you throw up.
That's all you got.
And that's it. Who cares? You're going to get lit up anyway in the later rounds anyway because you're going to be so fucking tired anyway. So it's easier to come up with a game plan. Again, Jorge, please don't fucking kill me. It's easier to come up with a game plan to fight a guy like Masvidal than it is, I think, to come up on 6 days' notice to come up with a game plan to beat a guy like Usman. I think with a proper camp time in order to come up with a solid plan on like, here's how we force Usman to play our game. Because we know he's going to avoid it. So what do? We stalk. We slow down. We stalk. We don't chase him. Don't go after him fast. You're going to catch him anyway, but don't. Just stalk. Stalk him to the corner and then keep his back to the cage. That way he can't shoot in and drag you down. Like little factors, things like that. And that might not even be the game plan, but it gives them time.
Let's talk about the plus side is I didn't see Stamina go away cutting those 20 pounds in 6 days.
Because he does it all the time.
Not at all. He did it like a true professional. And
as if it was a regular fight camp.
And he stuffed a lot of those takedowns, and he refused to be dominated once he was on the ground. Of course, he wasn't comfortable on the ground. He'd like to be standing up, but he was able to work his way back up. And so when I say that, staying disciplined, that's why I said a disciplined street fighter.
And that right there, what you saw of him getting back up was such, not, I don't want to say ease, but getting back up like it was just fucking ingrained. That's probably what they drilled that week.
As if to say anybody, but it's not going to be you tonight, especially you.
Yeah. They probably just put Jorge in one of those hotel rooms, sat in his guard and go, get the fuck back to your feet. You have 5 seconds to get to your feet or the ref's stopping the fight. Go. Get back down. Go. Okay. Back. Because it was like the same thing with what I said about McGregor-Cerrone with those shoulder punches. That wasn't something that he just fucking said, oh, there the fuck it is. He didn't see the fucking Lucky Charms over the rainbow. No. They drilled that because it wasn't a matter of if Cerrone gets you in this clinch. He gets everybody in that fucking clinch.
Cerrone was more surprised than hurt. Then all of a sudden they started landing. Then he got hurt.
Because it was something that somebody saw that nobody's utilized before. The clinch, he puts his head down. Something told them, we need to be drilling this, and it's going to be there. Fuck, it was. Just like when they said, we're going to drill that Aldo punch. And there it was. Like, it's drilling, it's camp.
That was a good, let's just talk about that. That was a good fight for the first 3 rounds. I knew he started running out of gas and slowing down. There was the age factor, but he was holding a good account of himself the first 2.5 rounds.
Wait, which one?
Aldo.
Oh, on the against Jan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jan is a monster.
He is. He really is. And it was like, well, here's the thing, is the scenario I thought you were going to see would be a wrestler that can strike. Like everyone is like, well, he beat Faber, he'll beat Aldo. I was like, well, he beat Faber, but like I said before, it's you had to outstrike a wrestler, which he did when he fought Faber. Because he wasn't going to out-wrestle him, and he knew that. The best his wrestling was going to do is help him keep the fight where he wanted to be, which was on his feet. Like at least it helped him keep on his feet. He wasn't going to out-wrestle Faber. That wasn't just going to happen, but he could outstrike him, and he did. With the Aldo scenario,
he also got clipped too.
Yeah, he got a fucking granite chin. Fucking Faber hits like a Mack truck, and he hits still like a Mack truck. So Jan's got a chin on him. That's no doubt. But with the Aldo fight, it would be you're trying to find a way to beat a striker, and it was just a lot of utilization, closing, the shot, the clinch, things like that. But man, I just didn't see. Somewhere, I think it was near the end of the first or somewhere in the second, Aldo took that body punch on the ground to the solar plex.
Oh yes, second round I think it was.
I don't know if it cracked ribs or something, or if it fucking ruptured like his spleen or something. But all of a sudden he just took that hit, and it's like it just fucking sucked the life out of him. And he just turned over, and I was like, hold on, what was that? And I go, show it on the replay, and they didn't show it on the replay. I'm like, hold on, because even Rogan was trying to get him to pull it up, or Bisping was, I think. He's like, well, they passed it already, but there's a punch there. Like he took that center punch.
That shows the power that he has, and also that might have been a gym injury.
No, I think fucking Jan's a little fucking jackhammer, and I think when he was on top of Aldo like that, I think it was just all boom, and he broke some. I really think we're gonna find out later, like Aldo got broken ribs or something, or cracked ribs. Something was not right anymore there.
Guy's 24 years old, man.
Yeah. Aldo's like, what, 34, 33, 34, something like that? Which he's not old either by any means, because he's been in it long enough to where his body's just adapted. But Jan is like a little freight train right now, but he's got some
The
holes.
matchup was for a belt, but that's why I always say to myself, if these fighters are going to fight, that they would say past their prime, as long as they stay on the senior tour or continue to fight other fighters the same age, then I can see that happening. But when you get in with a freaking spark plug, this new guy wants to make a name for himself, and you got the end result.
Would you stick Tyson in a ring with some young up-and-coming guy?
No. No.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to see that first exchange, because I'm thinking, okay,
I would have seen the first round.
If it's going to be anybody, Mike's going to land something that's going to make,
he's going to put
make
hands
this kid
on face.
respect his ass. I mean, he's going to be getting up in the count of 7, smiling, like saying, okay, you caught me.
You got me. All right.
All right.
You got me. Good one. Good one. Respect. Okay.
Yes.
But no.
He'll give dabs, too.
I think the finish aside, I think that was a good fight. Aldo started utilizing those leg kicks. But who was it? Was it Volkanovski or somebody was just taking kicks to the lead leg, and he had to like switch? It was Jan. Yeah. Jan's whole like left calf was just red as shit, and he had to switch.
That was
feet.
a great game plan right off the bat.
And that was
soften him up.
Exactly.
Give him something to think about to land the punches.
I think it was more, let's force him off of his regular stance. Let's force him to switch stance and fight off of a bad stance, which Jan showed.
Let's remind him who he's fighting. Because that was Aldo.
And he was blasting his leg. He was chopping the tree down. I was like, okay, cool. We're going to see a good Aldo.
Great game plan.
And he just got, like I said, man, that punch to the solar plexus did something. Something stole his fucking soul in that moment, and it just stopped that. But I don't know what the ref was thinking. I mean, I know what the ref was thinking.
Wait, let's talk about that ref. I thought it was Michael Bisping at first.
No.
Right?
Version.
When he was given the instruction, I'm going, well, look at Bisping, man.
Yeah,
reinvented himself.
I don't know. Here's the thing. If I were Aldo and I had the legend fucking status that Aldo has, that anybody who says he's not a legend, I don't know what sports you've been watching. I don't know what MMA you've been watching for the last 10 years. But the legend that he is, there's this moment where I've seen a couple refs do it. They will give you a little more time to get out of a bad spot. Sometimes you get guys like Herb Dean, and they go based on not your status, but what they've seen you do.
Experience by like, working your fights.
Yeah, and Herb would be like, dude, I've worked a couple of Lawler's fights or whatever. Gabor can get cracked. He'll go down, but he usually finds a way back up. So I give him a little more time because I've seen him pull it out. I don't want to cut him off early when I know the dude's capable of it. So, and then you've got the legend status where I think this ref fell into, where he was just like trying to give Aldo
I thought he turned into a fan and he's watching the fight.
No, he was just trying to give Aldo every opportunity and benefit of the doubt that, okay, some of those aren't landing, some of those are missing, they're hitting the glove. This is Aldo, he can get out of this. Okay, he's getting back to his knee. Like, you never want to cut a legend short too soon if they're just happen to be on a bad end of a whooping right now.
That was more than too soon.
No,
he took
and
a lot of shots.
that went way too long to the point where we were like, dude, stop the fucking fight. Like, he's not killing him.
I mean, I I'll go on Twitter and Instagram every so often too, and during a fight, Stevie Wonder said, "Stop the fight! I'm taking too many shots."
I counted 32.
That's what he said, man.
It wasn't one of those things where, like, I think Aldo would have got hurt.
Yeah.
I think Jan was a little tired. I think at that point it was just a lot of just the unanswered punches at that point. But I don't think he was going to hurt Aldo.
Jan was going to tap out because he was hurting his hand.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
No, yeah, really. He was
like, honestly, at one point, if Jan had just cracked him and looked at the ref and go, "Are you going to stop it or not?" Yeah. The ref probably would have jumped in at that point, but Jan never really looked at him. He just said, "Okay, cool, I'm just going to fucking keep punching you," which is fine. Body, head, boom, boom. So I get that, but at the same time, he wasn't going to hurt Aldo with that late stoppage, but at the same time, the ref could have easily just said, okay, that's it.
Officiate the fight. But the safety of both fighters, win is enough. But you know what? You're not the only one. I mean, Twitter was blowing up. Everybody was talking about stop the freaking fight.
Yeah, that was just way too long.
Legend or not. You know, I mean, Muhammad Ali, they stopped the fight after the 10th round against Larry Holmes, man. I mean, they just said, no.
You got to look out for the fighters. I mean, like I said, it wasn't it was going to kill or hurt Aldo, but that was one of those scenarios where, like, he's not getting out of this.
Was Fight Island a success?
Which one?
Fight Island.
Fight Island, I would say, well, barring anything where we find out like 20 people all of a sudden got infected or something, which would put a black eye on it, obviously. But I think it was good. I think it was fun. But like I said, I think its original conception came from somewhere else, and I just think right now its use isn't. They're using it because they paid for it. Is the way I would say it. It's been paid for, so they need to utilize it.
But the idea was already emotional. Did you get the number of what Dana White said?
No, what number?
Something like $100 million.
Oh, on pay-per-view buys? Yeah, the pay-per-view
I'm talking about
buys.
what he paid.
Oh, what he paid for the Fight Island?
Yeah, for the whole
they probably
building
paid
and everything. Yeah,
they
so
probably paid like
they're going to stay
1.8 or
there. They're
something.
dropping anchor there.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they're going to drop anchor there. I think they're going to drop anchor in Vegas with the exception of everything, because they're not doing audiences, so they can pretty much drop anchor in any state venue.
I'm talking about that investment, my man.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to, but that investment was, like I said, created out of the notion for people getting their visas expired.
Let's talk about the McGregor, because you can still say that. Let's talk about the McGregor numbers that came in this Saturday.
Oh.
On the numbers, the buys.
Oh, it was like 1.8?
Yes, exactly.
Like that, 1.8?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
Exactly.
Million,
and I think
that's because people are at home.
But see, here's another bargaining chip, okay? Let me tell you this, because he went from, okay, I'm going to take one more fight and then let's run it back. Now he said, let's have an immediate rematch. Why? Because he has that bargaining chip because of the numbers.
Oh, the main?
Street Jesus, man.
Yeah, Masvidal and Usman?
Yeah.
I mean, I could already see how that meeting goes. They look at him and go, well, let's look at some of the variables and factors to that, Jorge, before we go ahead and just jump on the boat and say, yeah, you're right. COVID-19 is going in. Your average fan that's not at the arena right now, which let's say 15,000, 17,000 fans that weren't at the arena, they're at home buying that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So let's look at that reality first. People who take Andy, for example, don't even watch MMA, but there's no fucking sports on.
Hey, he said, I'm watching.
They're watching.
And he's watching and betting.
So, and
investing.
Just your casual fan is going to watch. Your hardcore fan's going to watch.
You know what? Let's talk about the casual fan. Didn't mean to cut you off, man, because I've never really let it get to me, but I always feel like it's my responsibility to respond, especially when I post it on our page. I can't let these strikes keep going and going. I got to respond to it, at least to let them know, okay, it's our page, to respond back. I just don't got time to deal with somebody who buys an MMA shirt, and all of a sudden they're an expert.
Well, you don't get an expert by buying a shirt. I want my fucking money back. Hey, Target, give my money back. Well, it's just like we were talking about that earlier. Your sport isn't big if you don't have armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know.
You got to have those guys, because that tells you that you're doing your sport's large enough that people think that they can just. And here's the thing: I don't want to say it's an entitlement thing, because there should be people that should go, oh, I don't agree with that. This is that. He should do this. He should do that. Like, that should be part of the sports. That should be part of the conversation and the dialogue with it. It's just, it's hard because you want people and fans to express their opinions, because they're going to watch your next fight to see if you listened, or if you listened to the fans, or if you heard what people were saying, like, dude, bro, stop with the leg kicks. You're bad at it.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you train, it's like, dude, just use your hands. Takedowns. You're a wrestler and a boxer. Fuck it. Utilize it. To see if people are just cognitive of what the fans are saying as a whole. Because once you disassociate yourself with the fans entirely, you're going to lose them as far as your brand goes. You need to embrace that to an extent. And, like, not to the point to where you're sitting there arguing with every fucking troll on the internet who's like, oh, man, sitting there with this fucking, God, I can only think of a fucking Affliction MMA shirt. Let's go deep into the fucking vault of dumb fucking shit.
Got his new tattoo now and stuff.
Yeah, he's got his fucking
got a gym membership,
NHB tattoo on his arm or something.
Got his gym membership.
Yeah, he's got his gym membership. He's hitting a heavy bag at GB3.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those fucking guys. He's got the Everlast plastic gloves.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is
bought a replica belt and shit.
Yeah, but those are also the same guys that are buying every fucking pay-per-view.
I know.
They're going to every local show. But it's the guys that we're talking about that are at home on their computers just watching it, never even fucking seen a gym, probably never even been to a live show. Yeah. And they're in fucking mom's basement going, oh, that's fucking stupid. Why would he do that?
Probably never invested time in interviewing a fighter before and after the fight, spending time with them, finding out who their family is, knowing the weight cut, knowing the injury they came back from, knowing the trust that fighter has in you, that he tells you stuff that never ever hits the air, but he's confiding in you, building that relationship with that fighter. I don't just talk to fighters. I know a lot of fighters inside and out, stuff that I'm not going to say over the airways. So basically, I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I got called out on it when another one said, well, you've never fought, you've never been in the cage. And I responded like I always do, yes, I have. I just never put gloves on because I announced these motherfuckers. So watch out on who you go after. I'm going to let you know exactly who you're talking to. So I just had to say that for a certain somebody that continued that didn't want to stop. I'm not going to delete him and pull a punk move like that. But I just said, bro, okay, relax. Let me buy another Affliction shirt.
As long as I wonder if they even fucking make those anymore.
I'll get you a small one too.
Yeah. You'd like I said, as long as they're respectful, to an extent, I grant it's going to be an argument, but to an extent, as long as you don't start like trying to directly insult someone, say something about them directly, because now you're getting off topic. You're taking the conversation, you're losing the conversation, so you're now attacking them because you're losing the argument. That's great, fine. Those I just delete because it's like, why? But anytime someone has a disagreement or an argument, it's like, no, because I want other people to read it too and say, you know what, Cole, I do agree with Mike over here, or hey, no, I'm kind of agreeing with Cole on this one. Like, he makes a good point. Like, why would you do that? That was a camera, not a rifle. So shit like that kind of thing. So, but you got to have them on there, and their opinion is, you know.
No, they didn't want to stop. I got inboxed.
Oh, well, but that's the thing.
And I was like, okay, bro. I was like, come on, bro.
Well, here's the thing is, if you're going to inbox me, you better have some solid fucking backup data to argue anymore. Because now you want to argue
Well, at
directly.
least he questioned me on the inbox, not out there.
And that's the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah,
and that's the respectful thing is, okay, I'm not going to put this guy on blast in front of everybody. I'm just going to go, hey, have you ever fought? But here's the thing. When you take a guy like yourself that's been...
No, he said, have you ever been... He goes, you never been in the cage before at a professional fight? You've never been in a professional... You've never been in the cage before. So,
yeah, but I mean...
I just told him I have.
So he's trying to...
But I was announcing.
He's trying to negate your opinion that his opinion doesn't hold too much value. So he's trying to counter it by saying, well, you haven't either, so your opinion doesn't matter either. But the problem is, it still circles back around to the fact that, well, yeah, but your opinion is wrong already. Like, but anyway.
Well, anyways, he got what he wanted because we're talking about him on the show without mentioning the name. But it was funny, and I was like, don't put on inbox, leave it out there.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, but that's the same as he might just be trying to do the respectful thing. He doesn't think it's appropriate to do. He might say, that's a really dick thing to do. Well, I'll ask him in private. But, you know, for the amount of experience and interaction and private time and traveling and day in, day out with these fighters, because you'll spend like a whole weekend at a camp like at Robert Garcia's or something. Like, you'll go up to Sacramento, you go down to LA, you go to OC, you go down to Temecula, you go to all these gyms. So you're getting more insight than, like, say, your average fan or your average interviewer would have, or a commentator that's just doing a show or whatever. So your inner knowledge and your inner understanding of the workings and what goes on in fighters' minds, you know, not to just back you up over him, but just if I were to be objective or be biased about the scenario and look at it as a whole, I'd say, well, this guy's got a lot of experience.
We mentioned
the industry.
We mentioned that word on the show, and it's called an investment.
Yeah, you're invested into the industry, so you spent time learning more about the guys, more about the fighters, asking their thoughts, what they feel like, what they do when they do this, what they feel like when they do that. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that fight? Why did you take that? You're investing yourself within the breathing entity that is the industry and the boxing sport itself. So you kind of have more of an insight than your average fan. Yeah. So that would be where I would back up the play of if they put the two arguments up. I'd say, well, yeah, you haven't been in there, but he hasn't either. But he's also got a lot more insider experience and knowledge of the inner workings and thoughts of fighters than you would, because he's been privy to that knowledge. Just like, it's hard for people to say that, but like, well, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. But it's like, you know, I haven't been shot in the chest, but I fucking know I don't want to.
I haven't won the lotto. I want to win.
Yeah, but I haven't, but I know I want to. So it's,
exactly.
You know, it's like,
I like sex. I haven't had it in a while, but, you know, I enjoy it. It's always nice when it happens.
Get a waterbed. Take the knee out of the equation. Get a waterbed.
That was a perfect cue right there for the donkey to come in, KP. Man. It really was.
But you do need those guys in the industry. Like I said, as long as they're respectful and they want to have or even if they want to have an argument about it, like just let's argue some facts, let's argue some data, let's argue some facts. Like I had one guy the other day try to tell me, oh, well, the Nate Diaz and the McGregor or the Jorge Masvidal fight, they wouldn't have stopped. The doc that was right. They should have stopped it. Another state they wouldn't have stopped. So it's like that's true. They wouldn't have. If it were like in another state, like when he fought Frankie Edgar, same cut, same everything, different state, they didn't cut it. They didn't stop the fight. So when they want to say, oh, it's this and that, it's like, nah,
those are the diehard fans, man. Those are the diehard fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, the diehard fans are the guys that
it was just a matter of time. It could have gotten ugly.
It could have, but at the same time, if one state was willing to let the fight go on, then the fight should be allowed to go on just about.
He's actually at his best.
When he's hurt.
And on his back?
Yeah.
Because that's when he puts I don't give a fuck mode on.
Well, he puts the pressure on himself to you better either knuckle up or you're going to get fucked up.
I love that. And I posted and I tagged you. where the knee was coming, he walked away and got mad at himself like a little kid.
Yeah, he did get mad because he was just
Like,
like,
he's like,
I fucking bit on that. Damn,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck that. He got mad. Like
He
you
did.
see him like threw
And
his
then-
arm, like fuck that. He got mad
and took it to him afterwards.
Yeah,
he
did
initiated.
because he wanted to make a statement that you're not going to punk me and just I'm going to bang with you. You're not going to punk me.
Exactly.
But I don't blame Jorge for trying that on that one.
No.
Like I don't blame him
No.
because it was just a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Nate had just not moved, I think Jorge might have thrown it. Like just a
Why not?
Why not? Like
Yeah.
if you ain't moving, fine.
Yeah, I
You
ain't got
wanna-
nothing to lose.
You want to get Astrid too? Boom.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of Astrid,
Oh,
dude,
did you see his text?
Dude, yeah.
What did he say? He goes, this fight sucks.
Yeah.
He goes, I hope they both lose. And then he goes, I hate these dudes.
These guys, I don't want either one. But it was a tweet. It was a tweet that he put out about the knee that he took or something. And they were like, "How long did it take you to realize that?" And he's like, "About 5 seconds." Like how long it took Masvidal to get him and knee him because he said something. But he took it really good. Like he's a good sport.
No, he's embracing his personality. He's not shying away from it. That's who he is. So
he's not changing or backpedaling.
No, he's
like,
not. No, he's not. I want him to come in and commentate.
That'd be interesting
Because
I could see him
there could be
commentating.
some maybe some fights
Like
afterwards.
Chael's turned himself into a great guy for that.
Oh,
job.
Chael's awesome.
He's not always
The bad
right,
guy, American
but-
gangster.
Yeah, but I mean, but overall, it was a good card. I did take some losses. Thug didn't seem to be too happy with her win. I expected that decision win. No, I didn't see her losing that fight. She just kind of.
Oh, that was a good fight.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
She got her fucking nose cracked.
Yes,
No, I think her
yes.
nose for sure is broken.
Yes.
Broke that fucking thing. The Van Zant one, like I said, I think she needed the win. I think this loss is actually going to hurt her. Maybe she never comes out publicly
Dana
and
White
says
made a
it, or they
statement.
deny it. And he even said that thing too. I think she should maybe consider the free agency. Not because she shouldn't be fighting, but I think she needs to maybe go. And again, this is just an opinion, guys, as somebody who's been in the sport long. This isn't me saying,
Triple
I
A.
think I know better. She should just retire. No, but I do agree that maybe if she went backwards for just a minute, maybe went and ran house on Invicta.
Get some W's, man.
Yeah, get some W's in like Invicta, where the whole. I'm sure Shannon would love to have somebody like Van Zant on their card. She'd be a main card fight every time, and it would give her more chances to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think go out. Same thing like Sean told me. Go out, get a couple W's. It makes it easier for us to sell you. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing because when a fight matchmaker puts the card together, he's still got to show it to the powers that be. And guys like Dana and whoever makes the decision, now they're going to look at him and go, "Why the fuck is that guy in the card?"
Yeah. Or why is he matched up here? No, we're not giving any easy fights.
Yeah, but it's just more a sense of guys who aren't winning. Why are we putting them on cards? What's the thing like that? Like he would look at it and go, "Why is she on?" Like there's not much we can do with her. Not because there's nothing they can do with her, but it's that age-old thing. If I told you, if you could be the most marketable, brandable product in the world, but if you're not winning some of your fights, they can't do anything with you.
No,
it's hard. It's hard, and I think she needs a couple good W's to get her base going again, and then come back. And as long as she comes back and gets her first win back, I think she'd be fine
that's probably what's going to happen, man. I know Bellator's supposed to return to action next week.
Yeah, Bellator's doing that. LFA, I think they just
And
had their show on
they
the
got that
10th.
date locked in August 28th in Miami.
They're Florida, another state that's doing cards.
And also, speaking of that, I don't have the information right now, but Tito Ortiz is launching his punishment gear now on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
the punishment
you
clothing
got to
line,
go
you just
check it out. Yes,
transferred it to Amazon?
yes, he got some new gear on there, some freaking nice material, man.
Did he make like an exclusivity move or
Well,
something?
I mean, no. He had his gear, Team Punishment, and he had it sold on his website. Now he's collaborating with Amazon. I mean, it's just through the roof now, man. I mean, his gear is just awesome. I was talking to Mike and Fromowitz today, and he said, "Richard, you got to check out his gear." Posted some things for Tito, and his team responded. I didn't get a chance to.
Well, Amazon
get into
takes a
detail.
big wet chunk out of your ass, so I imagine he's got to put a lot of product out.
Well,
there.
that means it's in demand. So he's doing something right.
No, of course he is. He's moving forward with his brand. And the punishment clothing line, he's been doing since
he's been doing it for a minute.
back in the
Yeah.
fucking day, dude. I mean, like fighting Shamrock
Yeah.
back in the day. So he's been doing all the way through.
Well,
so.
because he would come out with these badass shirts and people wanted them. So he started clicking
Punishment
and
Inc. or
thinking,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. I got a couple of his first pieces.
the old school ones, like the flames on the
Oh,
shorts.
well, I mean,
shit
it's
like
always
that.
bad when it says Ortiz is a badass,
Yeah, that's old.
and that's my last
That's
name.
old. That's like late 90s old.
And that's my last name.
It doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. Especially, Virgil Ortiz Jr., who's going to be fighting the Zone boxing in 2 weeks.
How
man.
is
10
the Zone
days.
doing? How is the Zone? Does anybody know how the Zone's
They're
numbers
still in
are doing?
existence, man, because you got.
See, that's the scary thing when you say they're still in existence.
Exactly, because of the Canelo. Garnelo and Golden Boy, a lot of fighters do work with them. But this coronavirus is hitting everybody, man.
Well, of course. I was wondering if they're getting a
you know
chance to start
who's doing really
scratching
well
again.
is Top Rank, man. I mean, they're
Pushing
doing
out card after card right
They're
now.
doing it, and they did it strategically, and we're gonna be going pretty soon, because we were hungry for fighters. We didn't necessarily need a big name. So in doing so, these local guys, they're calling them up. They're getting a chance to fight on national TV, an opportunity, and they're getting called back even after a loss. If they put a good account of themselves, come back and win. They're
on a good fight,
old
yeah.
school, yeah. I was talking to Christina Potcher about that the other day, and she was on the show as a guest. And hello, Christina. And she said exactly that it's an opportunity for these guys to make money, continue their career, and be in the spotlight that would never, ever be on national TV.
Yeah.
So there is
This, like I said, the virus has created a lot of negative scenarios and bad opportunities to experience.
Yeah.
But it's also created a lot of positive experiences that people have to take advantage of. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is. Hey, do we got anything else, man? We went over, but
we got a fight
badass.
night card coming up. That's not all
Saturday.
that exciting in my opinion. And then we got to like UFC 252 didn't really look all that promising either. Like 252 shaping up to be like a fight night card. I think O'Malley is headlining it. I think they're kind of putting a lot of stock behind him right now after he fucking starts whining like that, because he goes on vacation, goes on vacation, comes back, knocks a fucking legend out. And then he probably, I don't know if he tested positive or not again, so we'll see what happens with that.
Kind of cycle off a little bit.
I mean, not really. Make your money, take
that's
a vacation.
that's a whole different conversation.
I mean, I think it's stupid, to be honest, to be spanking guys for that, because realistically, there's not.
No, I know.
There's no
I get
advantage.
it. No, I get it.
But he'll probably take his vacation and then come back. But I mean, I think they're investing in him. Do I think he's headline pay-per-view headline like status yet? No.
Yeah.
I think another solid win. I think right now he'd be good at like a good co-main right now on a pay-per-view. I think he'd be a really good co-main right now because he's got a good brand. He's very vocal. He's not shy. He's vocal. He's got a brand right now. He's got momentum. I mean, I think he'd be a good co. I don't know about a main. So like I said, it's kind of shaping up to be like a fight night. Like if he was going to be the main, I thought it was a fight night card. Like I thought they were going to give him a fight night main or something now that he had the good showing on the lower end of the card. Okay, cool. We're going to give you a highlight spot on a fight night, make you the main fight on a fight night. And then at that point, probably give him like a top 3 in a pay-per-view. Maybe like a second co for a title or something.
And that can very much be the plan. So we'll
but
see
nothing much else. They had an LFA on the 10th last week. So Legacy Fighting Alliance, they're doing shows again. Ed Swords and those guys, they're doing shows again too. So anybody that is looking for fights, there's organizations that are jumping up into these states that are allowing it, and they're just holding fights. So.
Well, they may be tied up in some management contracts, but hey, they just got to stay busy. Personally, me and you, we have it great. The fact that we woke up today and we're breathing air and that are alive, we have it great. A personal friend of mine, Michael Roselle, I don't know exactly what happened, but he passed away, and I don't want to keep looking at that picture because then I got to finish the show. So. If there's anything I can do within my power, I'm doing it right now. And I'm into the whole Roselle family. My heart goes out to Paul, John. I'm thinking about Laura, David, Margaret, the mother, Joey. And if I miss somebody, I'm just not thinking straight right now. And, Michael, it's easier said than done, but he's in a better place now. And my heart goes out to the whole Roselle family. I don't know when the service is going to take place, but I just want to let you know that I do acknowledge what's going on, and I feel your pain, and just know that here at the Fighter's Voice, we send our condolences to the whole entire Roselle family. So being that said, since you don't have anything else, amigo, my man, hey, Rich Ortiz, your host of the Fighter's Voice, wouldn't be nothing without the co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Escovedo, who's growing the stash, and we're going to talk about that next week.
Somebody complimented him on, by the way. I was going through a Starbucks drive-thru.
Really?
And they're like, oh, I like your mustache.
There you were, because I said don't cut it. Somebody said cut. I go, no, don't cut that thing. It works for you.
I'm going to grow it.
No, it's working for you because you got porn stash and then you got the Cole stash.
Cole stash.
You get it?
The jackass stash.
Yeah, hey, I like
fight
it.
fans.
Hey, it's
Hold
always a
your
wrap.
breath, no
It's always
luck.
a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.